Dorothy right now?
Yeah, they're just
It's Dorothy. Look at her fucking shoes. She runs around on stage with those things and sings her goddamn lungs out. This is fucking Dorothy.
28 Days in the Valley. It's coming out in March.
Check it out. Hey guys. So this is a really unexpected video that I'm making right now. I did not know any of this was going to happen. I drove all the way back to school, and my second day of the new semester, I woke up to the news that my grandfather unfortunately passed away. So I did fly right back home for the services and everything. Dorothy's a rock band. They formed in, I believe, 2014, based out of LA. They put out their first album, Rock is Dead, in 2016. In May, I saw the name Dorothy on the lineup for Rock on the Range, but there was so much Chris Cornell stuff happening at the time. I discovered Dorothy from Taylor Momsen's Twitter, and I was curious as to what she sounded like, so, because she's very, very pretty. So I listened to some of her music and I was really impressed. I think the best way to describe it is like a punk rock garage distortion aesthetic. So it was really fun to jam to. I listened to it pretty much the entire summer. Had major regrets about not seeing her at Rock on the Range. And then there was some news over the summer that she ended up breaking up with the original rendition of the band, and she hired a whole new one. She started working with Linda Perry, threw a whole new album together, and now it's about 6-7 months later, and it's already going to be coming out soon in March. It's called 28 Days in the Valley. That's just a little bit of my background on my experience discovering Dorothy. I have tickets to go see them at the end of January, and this is a plan. I have like a whole weekend trip planned with my friends from school. We're going to see her. So I reached out to their publicist about doing an advanced review of the album before it comes out, like I did for the Pretty Reckless last year. I am going to be getting the album from the publicist once their management okays it being sent to press. So I will be doing a review on the album, so be on the lookout for that. Wednesday, when I got home, I saw on Dorothy's Snap story, Insta story, whatever, that they were playing the Bowery Ballroom in New York that night. And I remember when the tour was first announced, I said, God damn it, like every single time I'm home, the band is playing in New York, like right as I go back to school. So I posted on my Snap story like a kind of face, and I was like, Dorothy's playing in New York tonight, and I had no idea I was even gonna be home. So my friend actually, I guess he saw my Snapchat and he went and like looked up the show, and he saw, you know, the tickets were super cheap and affordable, and he texted me and he was like, do you want to go? And I was like, yeah. We got ready that night, Ubered to the city, and got to the Bowery, got some drinks, did coat check, went upstairs, saw the first band. The first band was New York natives called Wild Street. I literally felt like I walked into a time vortex when I walked through the doors, because they had the big teased hair. The singer was wearing more makeup than I was. They were headbanging and, you know, spitting water on the stage, and just like, it sounded like complete like Poison, Motley Crue, like all that 80s hair metal, like inspired. That's basically what their aesthetic was. They covered Surrender by Cheap Trick, so that was fun because everybody in the crowd knew that. They seemed to have a decent following. There were some people in the crowd that were singing a lot of their songs. So I guess they're pretty popular to the New York area. When Dorothy finally came out, the stage was just set up with this very like warm lighting, and the band started playing this intro, this, you know, just like a really subtle, like soft intro that is nostalgic to the song The End by The Doors. It just has that like deserty, shamanish vibe. And Dorothy came out and she, you know, she lit a lighter and she held it up, and then I saw it on her Instagram, I forget what it's called. It looks, at first it looks like weed, but it's literally just like a little stick that you light and smoke comes out of it. And then she gave this speech about like freedom and was saying like, take a journey with me and whatever. And it was a really cool intro because she was just like speaking inspirationally over this little hymn that the band was playing. And then they broke out into their first song, which I didn't know it was a new song off their new record. and they had a song called Naked Eye come out in, I think, October or November, maybe September. It's on the documentary Served Like a Girl, which was produced by Linda Perry. I believe it's about women in the military. The show was awesome. There's a couple other times where she gave, dialogues throughout the show about love and that being the most important thing that we have. And they played a really good combination of new songs and old ones. But like the new songs were so catchy that the crowd wasn't bored at all because they didn't know the songs yet. You know what I mean? And this version of the band now that she has, they're a lot more 70s vibe. They have like the mustaches. They look like they're straight out of the 70s. She's not wearing, like black leather jumpsuits with red lipstick anymore. She's dressing like more like, I guess, like a Janis Joplin type thing. It kind of reminded me of a Jefferson Airplane show in a way. It was really cool. That also felt like a time vortex. Felt like it was in like late 1960s. I really enjoyed the way the new band is playing the old songs too from Rock is Dead. I never saw Dorothy from that era, but I have seen videos online, and I think the way that the band performs them now has a better classic sound to it, and I'm into the classic sounding stuff. So I really, really enjoyed it. She has an amazing voice. She said she was sick, but didn't seem to miss a note nonetheless. Anyway, after the show ended, which was amazing, we went downstairs back to the bar, and the coat check line was all the way up from the venue down to where coat check was. So we were like, we're just gonna wait at the bar, we're not even gonna bother. I don't know, I guess I wanna say like maybe an hour, maybe less later, Dorothy literally, they just come down and they're hanging out at the bar, and I introduced myself to her, she introduced me to her manager. Long story short, we are doing an interview, if all works as planned, for the show that I'm going to be seeing them at in a few weeks. So stay tuned for that as well. I'm very excited about that because we already started talking about some deep things off the record. So she wants to talk about them in the interview, and I think that it would make a really awesome conversation because I try not to ask the basic questions like, how did you guys form as a band? Where'd you get your name from? What made you want to play music? I don't really like doing that type of stuff because obviously all musicians are playing music because they're talented, they're artistic, and they love music. Music is their life. So I don't really see a point in asking the same questions that everybody always asks. So I'm really looking forward to us having a pretty like in-depth conversation and you guys getting to find out some stuff about the band and her as an individual and how much they've grown and progressed since the first album. It was just like an awesome person and very down to earth, very humble. Wait for their album 28 Days in the Valley to drop in March and pick up a copy of it because I'm sure based on the songs I heard, it's gonna be absolutely incredible. Stay tuned for the interview, and I'm looking forward to 2018. Aside from my grandfather's passing, so far it has already been incredible. And thank you if you've been keeping up with my videos. A lot of people have been reaching out to me already on social media. I really appreciate the support. For those of you who aren't saying perverted things about me and the musicians that I interview, I appreciate you, and I look forward to you being able to see what else I am gonna be working on in the future. Thanks, guys.
Welcome to the Freedom Tour.